So the way to say it is, a startup is a business, a new business that is leveraging technology or innovation to bring a solution to a problem with a large market or solving a problem at scale, leveraging technology. So if you understand, there are some words that I've used deliberately in the definition that I've done so far, right? I've always said technology and innovation, technology and innovation. And why was that important for me? Because you cannot be discussing a startup without technology and innovation. There has to be something. I actually heard Samson telling you that it's something new. For you to call it a startup, they must have something. I heard something done before, or that if somebody done it before, that you're doing it in a different way, in a better way. Yeah. I heard that.
Faster or better?
Faster, more efficient.
Yeah, more efficient.
So now you're remembering.
Yeah, that's.
You're remembering. Yeah. Yes. So you see, that thing that he was saying is essentially saying innovation. And he actually used the word innovation too. He said the startup is a business leveraging innovation. Right? And then he explained it. I don't want you to forget. So some of the things we continue to repeat, and I understand if you don't remember. But please don't just take notes here and go back and dump it. When you go back to devices, okay? Because some persons will come back. So you cannot discuss a startup without innovation. And technology, you cannot. I hope you know that innovation and technology are two different things, right? So you can't discuss innovation and technology, startup without innovation and technology. So that's why talent is important, and the primary talent is the tech talent. I mean, every other talent is important. Because if you have only tech talent, you cannot build a startup. Hello? You also need people with deep experience, domain experience. Some of them may not be exposed to tech and may not know tech. Okay? So as hub leaders, your responsibility is to create an ecosystem that connects both tech talent and non-tech talent. If you're going to build a strong incubation system, you want to create an atmosphere that attracts. Alright? So one of the key things is access to talent. You want to be able to look at it. So if talent does not, and when we say building talent pipelines, so I'm discussing both tech and non-tech. You understand? There's one more thing that, okay, I think we'll get to that point. Startups are fast-paced. The startup culture is fast-paced. Why? Because the startup culture requires you to build something valuable very quickly. Why is that so? Because the people funding you, the funding structure for startup is slightly different from the way normal businesses are funded. So also is the reward. You know, normal businesses want, every business wants return on investment. True or false? True. Every business needs return on investment. But the mechanisms for the return on investment are not necessarily the same. So whilst a traditional business, return on investment is profit from operations, right? Yes. Return on investment for an investor in a startup is not necessarily profit from operations. The investor wants to be able to get money from something we call upside. And what does that mean? If I invest in your business today, I am doing so with the belief that this business has the potential to grow very quickly and attract more funding to continue its growth. And as he attracts more funding to continue its growth, me that invested in you early, I want to exit. I want to sell to somebody else at a higher valuation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I will drill a bit more on this when we discuss funding. Okay? But for the sake of, because I want you to follow what we're doing, I'm just continuing it. So I'm going to repeat it again when we're discussing funding. Okay? Now, it's important for you to understand it as incubation, people who are going to get into incubation. Because the businesses you're going to be incubating, you're not incubating them because you are looking for profit from the operations. Hello? So they are going to make money, obviously. They are going to make profit from the operations, but that's not the profit you're looking for. I asked you what a unicorn is, right? Can you build a business that can be valued at $1 billion within 7 years or less than 7 years?
Yeah.
Hello? That is that's the business we're introducing you to. The business of building businesses that can be valued at $1 billion within 7 years or less. That's the business we want you to get into. Why is that important? It's important because if we're going to grow as an economy, whether it's Anambra State, or whether it is Nigeria, whether it's Africa, we need to begin to build big businesses that create values at scale. Please put your phone to the side. Does that make sense? We need to begin to build big businesses. Every economy is a function of the businesses that exist in that economy. US is rich because you have Google, you have Microsoft, you have ExxonMobil, you have, name them, big corporations, McDonald's. It's one of the reasons US is rich. It's one of the reasons their GDP is as high as it is. Right? We are poor because we have very few. How many Dangotes do we have in Nigeria? In the US alone, we have thousands, hundreds of thousands. Right? Many thousands of billionaires in dollar terms. How many do we have? And then maybe several millions of millionaires. Right? So, what does that say to you? It says to you that there is enough liquidity. There's enough liquidity. But here, how many people do we have at that level? So, how will they get it? It's not government. The government does not have money. You know, this is they tell you that Nigeria is rich, right? How many of you believe that Nigeria is rich? Nigeria is a rich country. Huh? Nigeria is a rich country. Nigeria is a very poor country. My sister, forget it.
We are very, very rich.
Hello, sir. Don't worry, let's not get into that argument today. Nigeria is a very poor country, even with natural resources. Go and check the list. Go and do a comparison analysis. Bring out US, for instance. Bring out China. Bring out some of those other countries. Check the natural resources they have. Make a list of it. Make a list of the one you have, and let's value the natural resources. Are you aware that the same oil that you have, that US has even more?
Yes.
But US is not drilling their own oil. When they try to do this small, they shall oil in the Mediterranean. What happened to their own oil? They are not drilling their own. They have. Hello? So when we stop this thing, Nigeria can only get rich when we decide to create value. That's when Nigeria will become rich. We won't reach anything. As long as we are refusing to create value, we're interested in transaction, or sell. Eh? We cannot be rich. We are not. So let's leave that. That's not the reason I can't talk today. See, access to talent. What's the proximity to research institutions? Why is this important? Why is it important? I told you that for it to be called a startup, you must be doing something new. Is that correct? Sometimes the new thing is discovery through research. How did Google start? Does anybody know? You know. Tell me.
Actually, deep research. It's a deep research, like PhD research. And as a tribune. So, and the goal is actually to kind of like create a big database whereby you can actually search for something and others.
And they found out when they finished the research, they went to their lecturer. Thank God we have plenty of lecturers here today. They went to their lecturer and said, "We can commercialize this thing." And the lecturer wrote $100,000 check as the first investment into Google. Hello? $100,000 check. That guy is a millionaire today because of that check he wrote. He wrote $100,000 check. Today he's a millionaire because of that check. So how many lecturers are writing checks for their students? You see the problem? But you tell me that which country where lecturer cannot write check for students? Hello? So do you understand why there has to be a total mind shift? If this country is going to move forward, there has to be a total mind shift. We need to begin to think differently. So it's important, if you're thinking of research, if you're thinking of setting up incubation, you should ask yourself, what's my connection? If there's no university in close proximity, how do I partner with universities? Some of the research works, how can I get some of the students doing research to join my incubation process? That's another way you can write checks for them. Do you understand? Stanford University has one of the biggest incubation hub. And they also have one of the biggest school-based angel network. Stanford alumni make up a lot of the angel that invest in the student startups. The same thing with MIT. So you see, there has to be a lot of 360 research. But here, ASU they fight, right? ASU they fight with federal government. Hello? ASU has no business fighting with federal government. In the first place, the schools should be able to fund themselves and take care of their lecturers. They have no business fighting with federal government. So there has to be a 360 reset. And I'm hoping that it starts from here. For those of you that are here now, I'm hoping it starts here. So you see, you can leverage university. Alright? The next thing is access to market. There's something called triple helix. Who knows what triple helix is? Triple helix is the combination of the academia, the government, and the market, the industry. So we used to have town and gown. I I'm sure, sir, Prof, I'm sure you have down and down. Right? So we move down and down. They say, no, you can't be down and down anymore because government has to be involved. Right? So it took not triple helix, a paradigm. You understand? So, as an incubator, one of the things you should be asking yourself is, these businesses I'm incubating, how can I provide them access to the market? So one of the ways you can do that is partner with existing corporate organizations. I'm not sure who's supposed to take that course, but when I check, no one is going to take it. I'll talk about it. How do you decide what type to be? Are you going to be a venture studio? Did anybody touch on that? Venture studio? But somebody talked about acceleration.
Yes.
Differently.
Yes.
But you don't talk about venture studio. Okay, that was Attack Samson. Right?
Yes.
So there are different models. Okay? Of course, most of you cannot be doing acceleration except you want to wait. At this stage in Anambra, a lot of you cannot be doing acceleration because there's nothing to accelerate. Is that correct? So a lot of you are supposed to be in the trenches developing the startups. So a lot of you are supposed to focus on incubation. Okay? So if you are focusing, so there are different parts to doing incubation. There is something called the venture studio. So some of you can also become the venture studio. What's the difference? What's the difference between the venture studio and the incubation system? The same thing, but different parallels. The venture studio almost sits like in the middle of an accelerator and an incubation. But they start from the end instead of starting from the beginning. What is the end? They go to the people that has the problem, in most cases, the companies, and say we can help you solve this problem if you give us the opportunity to solve it. We can build solutions that will help you solve the problem. And they then go and get people and say, we have a customer that needs a solution. We want you to support us. And then they hire teams that says, they hire experts in the field. And entirely, they build the solution. So they get a solution, they get a problem that has market opportunity, right? But they get something called anchor customer. Hello? They get an anchor customer. Now with the anchor customer, they get funding support and they hire talent to build the solution. And so typically what happens is the anchor customer becomes some type of initial investor in the business. So some of you, that may be your part. You can research it. That's not what I'm teaching today, but you can research it after I'm just mentioning it. Okay? You can go that way. Right? But why am I mentioning it? Because for you to build an incubation system, you have to think about these three things. Do you understand? And access to the market is important. So you have to consider who are the corporates that can potentially offtake the business that these guys are building. And do I have any connection with them? Do I have partnership with them? Do I have access to them? That's one of the things that will make you succeed faster as an incubator. Right? So think about it in three ways. The local, the immediate environment, the regional, and then the global market. Are we following so far? Huh? Are you sure?
Yes.
Why is my screen not moving now? Okay.
No, you missed one. Go back. You missed number 4 and 5 and 6.
The stuff is malfunctioning.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So, you see, you have to also think about, so let me show you. Alright, so you have to also think about the enabling environment. Okay? Sometimes people think about this as an inhibitor. Well, you know what, it says we should think about enabling environment. So, the government has not done this and not done this and not done that and not done that and not done that, and so I will not do anything. Do you understand what I just did? So, while I want you to think about enabling environment, I'm asking you to look at those things. Government may not have done a lot, but there are a lot of things that they also do. As if you look very well, you can key into some of it and take advantage of them. Does that make sense? So, you also think about infrastructure. How, for instance, you cannot run a hub sustainably without internet, right? Thankfully, there are lots of ways. You can say government has not provided opportunity for you to have fiber and Oka, right? But I mean, if you know that with Starlink, you don't have that, you cannot complain. Hello? So, then think about the funding. There may not be angel investors or angel investment network in Oka today, but a lot of you know people who can support businesses, whether local or the diaspora. So you have to figure all of those things out as you try to build an incubator. Are we following so far? Do you have any questions so far? Yeah. Please go ahead.
From your explanation, I don't know, I'm seeing it in another angle or whatever. I don't know, but I need more. I need more.
And I'm aligning to the angle that we're supposed to.
Okay, like for your definition on startups, you made mention that is, I don't know whether it must be tech before we call it startup or not. Then my second view is like, from what I'm seeing, it's like many people are just building people with the skills. Like some of the hubs we have, we render trainings and all these things. But what from your explanation, I'm just seeing like, it's not all about having like tech skill, but building people with an idea. Like when after the training, they now say, okay, we have this idea to develop something. You as a hub will now call investors or just help them to develop that business and market it. That is when you become a hub.
Okay. So thank you very much. And you're correct with little adjustments. You're correct. There are different types of hubs. There are training hubs that are focused on digital skills training. And that's what a lot of you are doing today. Training centers. That's what a lot of you are doing today. You're calling it training center. It's just call it a digital skills hub. It's a more modernized way of saying what you do. So don't go and tell somebody, I run a training center. You tell I run a digital skills hub. Why is it a hub? Because a hub is anywhere with a space that can accommodate people to learn and to connect, right? So you can even have a virtual hub. You don't have to wait until you have a physical infrastructure before you have a hub. You can have a petrol hub. You understand? So, your second, I'll start with the second step. You are right. Everybody, you can train people, and then you can also create a program just like that you're training. Create a program that allows the ones that are smart enough and have ideas that make sense and guide them to build it into a business. That's what this training is about. Does that make sense? Good. So the first question you said is all about tech. Let me correct that. No, it's not all about tech. It's about leveraging tech. Today you cannot do any business without technology. It is impossible. So when I say it's leveraging tech, tech is only an enabler. And the reason for tech is because of scale. Something we call scale. What is scale? Scale is the ability to reach far more people than possible without, the ability to reach far more people without exponentially, no, not exponentially, without correspondingly increasing, without, I'm trying to get the right English. So, correspondingly is fine, but there's another word I'm trying to use. So, how do you compare growth? Yes, but there's a word I'm looking for. You're correct, right? So, without correspondingly increasing the cost and infrastructure, mostly infrastructure that got you there. Of course, from infrastructure, you can come to operational cost and all of that, right? So the ability to grow your service and your service delivery and your solution and reach more people without increasing corresponding, because without a corresponding increase, not cost. I don't want you to go through the word cost. Without a corresponding increase in the infrastructure that makes that happen. The example I usually give to people anytime I teach is, if this place was a restaurant, this hall we're sitting here now, this restaurant can only take a number of seats. True or false? True. You can only take a number of seats and tables. True or false? True. And those number of seats and tables can only accommodate a certain amount of people on a given time. True or false? True. So for the sake of this conversation, let's say that this restaurant can only accommodate 20 people per time. That's eating. They're eating food. So let's say it has 10 tables. And, let's say it has 10 tables and 2 people sit on that table to eat per time. If it takes them an average of 1 hour to eat, right? And this restaurant opens from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay? How many hours in that time frame? 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. How many hours in that time frame?
10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours, yes.
Good. So it means that this restaurant can only serve 20 times 10 people, which is 200 in a day, every day. Is that correct? If I want to serve 1,000 people as a business owner in this hotel, why hotel? As a business owner in this restaurant, if I want to serve 1,000 people, how will I do it? Calm down. You guys are too smart, so you're already at the junction waiting for me. Let's stay back here. We are still in this restaurant now. We are still inside this restaurant. So the restaurant can only serve 200 people per day. It means that the money I can make per day, assuming they pay me 5,000 naira per food, the money I can pay per day is 205,000. Which is how much? 500. 10
million.
1 million.
1 million.
235,000. 1 million. So I can only make 1 million naira per day from this whole building or this good that I invested. I put so many things inside. Plus, I never count the money I use to cook the food and the salary of the people. This whole building like this, I can only make 1 million per it. Nothing else. So, if I have to grow, if I want to now start making 10 million a day, how are the things go up for this same my place? I want you to tell me. Huh? My sister, my brother, you know where we don't want to go. Stay here first. Let's talk about this hotel, this restaurant. Reduce time of eating. But it takes 1 hour. You want to rush people. You want to rush people to eat.
You can begin a system where those people must not eat in that space.
Really? Where would they eat?
Take out, home delivery.
Yeah, that's smart.
And you can introduce it. Now people can eat and you also introduce that.
You guys are smart. But this is where we are first. We're still here. We never go. We're still on the infrastructure. Those are some of the solutions. But even if you do that, you're making it 2 to 4, right? 2 to 4 is just double. It's only double from 2 to 4. I mean, it's just 2 million naira. Our goal is 10 million. The only way, guys, hold on, all those ones that innovation and they blame. We say we don't want to talk innovation yet. Traditional, without innovation and tech, what will you do?
I will introduce beans and bake as you go.
My brother, calm down now. Hey, calm down first. In fact, let me leave here. Let's go. Buyer talk. Increase the price of it. Yeah, that makes sense. But they also reduce the customers that come. Abi? Huh? Outdoor space, thank you. But outdoor space will cost you money. Is that correct? Good. Another way I can do this is to break down this place and rebuild it and add more floors. Is that not correct? Yes. But that will cost me more money.
Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what we're saying. But it is possible that instead of doing all of that, I can use technology. I can do virtual kitchen. Right? I can actually begin to do 10 million or 20 million from this school. In fact, people don't even need to understand. I can just be able to do this. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I can do technology and just sell. I don't need to put share. The same business. Right? The same business. Many of you know Melanie Pie. You know Melanie Pie, right?
Perfect.
Perfect. The same business, right? She was doing it.
Now in Abuja, Lagos.
Yeah, but even at that, let's even talk. She's leveraging technology.
Yes.
People can order, right? That's another level of, another side of leveraging technology. But, you know, even at that, she still has to create physical offices in Lagos and Abuja. I mean?
Yes.
Let's take a cue from our branch. When was the last time we walked into a bank branch? Anyone?
It's been long.
But the bank still have branches all over. Artifacts. Artifacts. You know what artifacts is, right? From their legacy business models, right? How many of you have Kuda Bank? Kuda Bank account here. Money point. Money point account. Almost everybody. Interesting. Where is Money Point branch? Where is their head office? Where is their branch? They have
Branch or it's not branch. Hey, that's
Sorry?
branch.
Money Point branch.
The center. No, it's not a branch.
That's an outlet. That's an outlet.
Outlet, sorry, outlet.
Money Point branch.
Customer service.
It tells people
Yeah, outlet, yes.
private
Customer service.
that their store when you're working into Money Point. They're giving them the opportunity to brand. So you see, those are different. See, we're discussing business model and innovation now. You'll be thinking how things can be done. So that's the goal, that's your work. So let's frame. How did we get here? Okay. So let's frame your own. Let's start with your strategy. Let's ask the question, what problem is your hub solving? Can you think and write it down? Don't tell me, just write it down. I'll give you 60 seconds. 60 seconds to think. And another 60 seconds to write it down. What problem is your hub solving? Okay, 60 seconds is up. Now, who are the key stakeholders and how do you think they benefit? You can write only two key stakeholders in the remember. Who are the key stakeholders, at least two, for this exercise? You can do more when you go back. Who are the key stakeholders and how do you think they benefit? All right, what will success look like within 3 to 5 years? When your hub succeeds in solving this problem, what will that success look like in 3 to 5 years' time? What would you consider as your hub's competitive advantage? Just write one thing. What would you consider competitive advantage for your hub? What do you do best? Why does your hub? Why is it different from every other hub? will come back to this. But I want to see somebody can come up and tell me what they wrote. Who was able to write all the things? All of us. You can come back. Who else? I want to take one woman. No, but come on, since you raised her. Which lady was able to complete? So read out what you wrote.
To myself, okay. Then I work with is from home, so we train teachers with our tech. We train teachers. We have digital teachers. So now I'm telling you, using tech, leveraging tech, and delivering their lesson. In the sense that teachers can deliver class. Then key stakeholders, government, NGO, and SBMCs, their school-based management committees, their sources, efficiency, and delivery of investment by delivering technology, then computing of results using the IC, Excel, and other related courses and for the use of computer results effectively. Then help competitive advantage, direct access to teachers and learners.
We are an institution, that's university. First of all, we do research, we train and incubate our students. Then the key players, parents and the church and government. Then we will have alumni, we will have research institutes for organizations, in the sense that even now, the rule there in our university is that no student will graduate without a skill. That is the law. You must have a skill before we graduate you. And that we hold training for them every session. Then, at the end of the day, in 5 years' time, we will have global recognition and also funding, because after graduation, we will still follow you up and fund our students or those we trained in our hall.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. So, firstly, at Codes Africa, we are bridging the gap between digital skills in MSCs, that is business owners and students. In the sense that all businesses are trying to go global, and one of the basic tools that you need for that is your website to be out there digital. So we are doing that. And two major stakeholders are, like I said, the business owners and the students. Right, and how they benefit is, number one, we help business owners. Like when you know, okay, let's say you want to apply for a funding opportunity, right? And they're like, how can we know more about you? Can you point us to like an official website, right? So we help you create that. And then for the students, we all know the world is going digital. So when they want to travel out there or they want to do something, they're like, oh, what digital skills? You understand? And then also our KPIs in the next 3 to 5 years, we aim to reach more people. As our name goes, Codes Africa. We are based here in Oka, but our goal is to reach outside the world, right? We aim to reach the whole of Africa and beyond. And one of our competitive edge is the fact that most hubs might deal on only digital like teaching tech skills, and most might say what it is just create websites, but we are together, we do those same things together.
Thank you very much. Now, before you go in, can somebody remind me what this whole session is about?
How to set up your strategy. That is how we are going to your hub.
All right, thanks. Does anybody else want to try? I want to know what this whole program is about. Okay, that's the top segment of the session, the title I'm doing right now.
Incubation readiness and
I'm talking
capacity
about,
building.
yeah?
Incubation readiness, it's on the word there.
Say that again.
Incubation readiness and capacity building program for innovation, hubs, and enterprise.
What does that mean?
Okay.
Yeah, that's you're reading what is there.
Good afternoon.
What does it mean?
It has been explained over and over again. It's just trying to help the already existing hubs, training us to help us produce more incubator hubs.
All right, thanks. So, in other words, the reason we're doing this program is because we want to see existing hubs in Anambra State become incubation centers as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if that's the case, is there anybody here who answered these questions from that perspective? If you did, raise your hand up. Huh? No, I listened to you. You deviated. Who else did? Let me see what you wrote. You can come. Let me see what you wrote. Come on. Chief, come. I want to see what you wrote.
Thank you. What I wrote is a codex. We're helping new businesses and hubs use new technology in growth, in developing and building themselves, and also we are impacting knowledge for existing hubs. Then the key stakeholders here, we are looking at youth, students, and new hubs. Then the goal, I didn't pick the okay. What does the system look like next Friday? How many hubs that we have so many hubs that are attached directly to Codex, and also building technocrats. Then finally, our competitive advantage is the partnerships and the endorsements we've received from government agencies and some private institutions.
So, at Tweak NGO, what the incubation aspect of it is doing is actually moving ideas to reality. Like, okay, we have an idea, how does it become a reality? Yeah. So, and for the stakeholders now, the stakeholders are the university, the government, NGOs, and angel investors and alumni. And at the end, their benefit is profit and also recognition. Then, what success look in the next 3 to 5 years? What success look in the next 3 to 5 years is mass adoption. Like, okay, what's the adoption of the product, and also what is the all competitive and unique? It's actually our approach and the talent pool we are building.
So listen. If you're going to incubate innovators, right, then you have to also become innovators yourself. And being innovators means that you have to become a sponge. You know what a sponge is, right? Do you know what a sponge is? What's the characteristics of a sponge?
Sucks in.
Huh?
Many absorb.
Absorbs water. It absorbs water. It absorbs water. That's what I'm looking for. It absorbs water and doesn't let go easily, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to incubate innovators, then you have to think like incubators. So the essence of this session is to let you, everything I've been talking about from when I took this microphone, is about you building, becoming an incubation hub. So I was expecting that the strategy you're going to be drafting for me would have been using yourself as an incubation hub. But a lot of you are still seeing yourself as a digital skills training center that you were before you came here. And you've done how many classes already? connect. If after the 6th class, you still haven't started yourself as the incubation hub owner. And what did I say when I started this class? That I want you to become, even if some of you are not the owners of the organization you present, right? So I want you to own, to think like the owner. Is that not what I said? And I said, I want you to forget what you do. From now onward, forget what you do originally. What I want to hear you talk about is what you want to begin to do in line with the conversation we're having. Does that help? Does it help?
Yeah.
So now I want you to, if I tell you to write something, so now what I want you to do is I want you to answer these questions again. We'll move forward, but we're going to come back to it. I want you to answer these questions again. Answer it now like you're building an incubation hub. That your company is a new company starting an incubation hub. What problem would you be solving as a new incubation hub? Hello? What problem would you be solving? What problem do you think exists that needs solving as an incubation hub? What does the incubation hub do again? What do they do again?
They nurture.
Eh? What do they do?
Nurture new ideas.
Eh? You guys are not speaking like you're confident.
They convert ideas to build.
Sorry?
One person should talk.
I don't agree with you, sir. With due respect. So what does the incubation hubs do again? They incubate ideas, they incubate businesses, new businesses. That's what incubation hubs do. Isn't that what we've been discussing here since? Are we tired? I have to stand up. We don't need to sit down. Let me stand up small. Who stand up small? Who stand up small? We don't need to sit down. I think we need to just start with it. So incubation hubs do what again?
Incubate ideas and businesses.
They incubate ideas, and new businesses. That's what incubation hubs do. True? How? It is the how that we are working on. That's what we're learning. The how. So you will have to learn how. So, like classes from tomorrow will show you how. These are some of the foundations. Then like that, when you finish. Okay. I think that's a rush to do now. Eh? So, guys, that's it. Thank you. So, you see, now you have to identify as an incubation hub, you're solving a problem. And like I said, you're solving a problem for the people. You're solving a problem for an identified group of people. Not everybody. Remember when I said you're solving a problem for students? Because you're targeting students. Eh? You could be solving a problem for professionals with domain expertise, domain experience. Does that make sense? So you have to then identify the problem, identify the value proposition. Value proposition, this is what we will deliver. This is what we will deliver to this target market or to this target audience. Alright? That's value proposition. So you see, the problem, the value proposition to the people you are delivering it to. Eh? So you then find what do you have, what are your capacities, what are the things you have internally, right? Then who are the partners, we talked about stakeholders. Then how did you make money? Some of you will take equity. You can take equity in the business. Hello? You will take equity in the business. Some of you will tell the businesses to pay you money. to support, to incubate them. Right? Some of you could go take money from some foundations to run the incubation program to support the businesses. And you could do all of it. You could take money from startups, you can take money from foundations, you can take money. If anyone is country manager for FI Institute, is that correct?
Correct.
FI Institute is the state accelerator, right?
Yeah.
But the large extent is an incubator. And people pay how much again? People pay almost equivalent of $500 to attend that incubation. How much is $500 today? Almost $800,000, right? Me, I coach startups. I coach startups, and I do it in cohorts. Every cohort, the last cohort I paid me $750,000. I don't take much, I take only 5 things per cohort. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you can do the same as us. The same. So how would you make money? So let's talk about the vision. You have to find out what is your vision, why? What is your why? Why are you doing this? Get into the vision. What is your mission? So we need to align your vision and your mission and your operations. So your mission cannot be saying something else and your vision is saying something else. Do you understand? And then you're now doing something else in your operations. An example. I asked you, remember the question, number one question, who remembers that? And I then asked you, what will success look like for you? In the next 3 to 5 years, right? That's a tough question. The combination of those 2 questions can give you your vision.
I don't know.
Does that make sense? For instance, you categorize complex scalable startups from undergrad in 5 years. Does that look like the answer to that third question? To categorize 100 startups in undergrad from undergrad in 5 years. That looks like it. And that can be the vision. Mission: to provide incubation, mentorship, and investor linkages to founders, to early stage startups and businesses. So what do you do again? What do you do again? No, I'm not asking you directly. Number 1 question. What was number 1 question?
Problem solving.
Your mission.
You can't say
Your mission. So, when it comes to operations, there are a few ways. You ask me how. Apart from selecting startups and taking them through whatever length of time you designed, right? So, the things you will do, some of the activities you will engage in, will involve selecting startups, training them, providing mentors. Bruce talked about some of those things when he was teaching. Providing mentors to come and teach them, and then run demo days, right? And invite investors to come and listen to their pitches, and maybe invest in some of them, right? That's your goal. You help them to raise money, to grow faster, to grow bigger. Okay? So those are some of the things to. So you're going to do this, but we're going to watch very fast. Now you see an example of vision mission, right? So we want you to write down a draft vision. I'm going to call you at the end to come and read for me. Right? What you wrote. So write down a draft vision of your hubs. The draft vision and mission for your hub. Can you try that? Can you do that? Don't copy the question, right? Instead, answer the. Don't copy the question, instead do the exercise.